I'm Christa Jacobson, headmistress of the Budo, where we teach authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu. For those of you guys who do not know what that is, those are the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. Today in this video, we're going to tackle the question, is ninjutsu applicable in the modern day? Which is a topic that is very much discussed in the ninja community. Is ninjutsu training practical in the modern day? Now, for us to tackle that particular question, I will be reading from one of my books called The Kage no Sho, or the Book of Shadows, okay? So this is going to be the book that I'm going to be reading from. Now, before I read my thoughts on this particular subject, modern day training of ninjutsu, I want to talk about this book a little bit so you can see why I'm using this book as a reference, okay? I'm not going to do a book review or anything like that. That's already on YouTube. If you guys want to know a background about this book, then just simply go to my review section, type in Kage no Sho book review, and this is going to come up. Give it a, watch the video if you'd like. But the reason this book was written, okay, is because there are 7 points of interest within our particular school. There are 5 areas of training. I want to go through that real quick. Anybody who's a Budo student supporter knows that the Budo has 5 areas of training called the Goho no Keiko. The Nanamusha Den, which are the 7 warrior traditions. Gendai Hinkawaza, which are the modern variation techniques of the 7 traditions. Hojo and Do, which is a supplemental training, the skills that you need to make yourself better as a martial artist. So that would be like strength conditioning, cardiovascular conditioning, skin and bone conditioning, sparring, grappling, kickboxing, survival skills, all that falls underneath Hojo and Do. The 4th area of training is called Nihon Mushukyu, which is the study of the Japanese warrior. So that's studying the scrolls and history that's outside of the 7 traditions that we have left in the modern day. So anytime I can get my hands on ancient scrolls and Densho and Makimono and things like that, and I can share that with my students, that's always going to be part of our training. And the 5th area of training is called Sesshin Teki Kyoyo, which means spiritual refinement. Now, outside of those 5 areas, there's 2 other areas, Kuden, which is the verbal transmission and the oral traditions within the school, and then you have Hiden, which are the deepest secrets of the school. In this particular book, there are 7 chapters. Each one of those chapters has 25 points. Now, those 25 points in each chapter is not what I would say the most important. They are the most used, okay? And then I want to say it again. I'm not saying that they're the most important aspects of each of those 7 chapters or 7 areas that we talk about, but they're the most used, and that's why I think that anybody who's a Budo student should have this book. Now, today we're discussing, is ninjutsu practical in the modern day? So before I tackle that, I want to read from you guys point number 25 in the 1st chapter called Kuden. Okay, and like I said, every chapter has 25 points, and each one of those points is kind of like, I don't want to say it's a lesson, but it's definitely a stance that this school takes in regards to classical ninjutsu and bujutsu. Okay, so point number 25 in chapter 1, Kuden. Some say that ninjutsu is not relevant in the modern day. Even other ninjutsu masters say this and decide to teach taijutsu. Taijutsu is not ninjutsu. Anyone who says otherwise is false and misleading. Unfortunately, we live in a world that promotes fantasy. The media portrays sport martial arts, MMA, boxing as real and effective forms of self-defense. It's sad. These fighters are seen as gods, and people admire and look up to them, thinking if they learn those skills, they can find the truth of Budo. This too is false and misleading. They, the ones in political power, also want you to believe this. They do not want you to learn these skills. They want you to trust that they will protect you. This is also false and misleading. I disagree with the political persuasion and media portrayal of the martial arts. I also disagree with these other ninjutsu masters who say that ninjutsu is not relevant in the modern day. In a world of terrorism, corrupt governments, murder, hate, greed, rape, and poverty, I would say that nothing is more relevant and important in this than the study of ninjutsu. So that is one of the points that I have within the Kage no Sho, which is the Book of Shadows. So for those of you guys who have not added this to your library, I deeply, deeply think that you guys should be doing that, especially if you guys are Budo students and supporters. So let's talk about this real quick. Why ninjutsu is what I think extremely important in the modern day, outside of what I just read. What you just heard me read are my words, my thoughts, and I stand by them 100%. clearly ninjutsu is information gathering, espionage, counterintelligence, and intelligence. It's anything to do with in the world of spycraft. There's other things, there are other skills that are attached to ninjutsu that is so important that I think that's why so many people should be training in the art of ninjutsu. One, stealth. And I'm not trying to be this conspiracy theorist or, this doomsday. Here's an apocalypse. We're all gonna, when no one has electricity or money anymore, anything like that. But if that was to happen, wouldn't you want to have survival skills? Wouldn't you want to have hunting skills, trapping skills, tracking skills? Wouldn't you want to have a higher method of self-defense and self-protection? Wouldn't you want to be able to utilize stealth in the realm of hunting, or being able to travel from one distance to another without giving off where you are because you don't need people around or trying to harm you or your family? I think that there's so much that goes into ninjutsu because ninjutsu teaches strategy and principles and philosophies that are so universal, and they can be applied and modified and applied towards many aspects of life, not just in the realm of combat. So anyone who sees ninjutsu as black and white, where it's like, nope, these ninjutsu skills only fit in the 16th century, I think is a little ridiculous. The skills themselves, the principles, can be applied in a variety of different ways, and even in the modern day. Now, I don't think that, I do want to say, going back to that book, taijutsu is not ninjutsu. So when I'm talking about ninjutsu, I'm talking about ninjutsu for what it is, okay? And that's gathering information, understanding how to protect yourself from someone taking something from you, stealth, how to build fires, how to live off the land, how to do all these different things are with nature. And I do believe that we need to be one with nature. That's something that I do strongly stand by, which is also written in that particular book. But so many times people try to say that these ancient martial arts or koru, they're not applicable in the modern day, and I highly disagree. They are applicable in the modern day, and they're more so applicable than many of the martial arts that are more popular. I mean, we could argue that ninjutsu is more applicable and more practical towards modern self-defense and modern in a modern way of living. If something was to happen and we don't have electricity and we don't have and money as in a form of trade anymore, and now it's going to be barter and trade, I'll make you a blanket if you can give me half of that deer type of thing. I can tell you right now, your ninjutsu training is going to pan off way more for you than, say, kickboxing or taekwondo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and not that those aren't great martial arts. This isn't me saying those are terrible martial arts, but they don't have an angle towards survival skills, hunting, tracking, stealth, weaponry. They don't have that type. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is aimed towards sports, and it's not purpose of living and self-protection. So I think that, when someone say, is ninjutsu training applicable in the modern day, the answer is absolutely yes, it is. But the real question is, what are you training for? If you're training because you want to be, a gold medalist in the Olympics, then you need to be in taekwondo. If you're training because you want to be, a sport karate champion or a sport fighting champion, you'd be in karate. If you want to get in the ring and knock people out, you need to be in kickboxing. If you want to be this ultimate fighter where you're punching and kicking and taking to the ground, you need to be in MMA. I mean, ninjutsu training isn't going to help you at all in those areas. So if you're training ninjutsu for that purpose, well then, no, ninjutsu is not applicable at all in your life or practical in your life if you're trying to use martial arts in the sense of sport. But if you're trying to use martial arts in the sense of bettering yourself as a person, making yourself and the people around you better, having a sense of self-esteem and self-empowerment, and having the skills to be able to survive when shit hits the fucking fan, you got no electricity, money is not the number one trade, then ninjutsu holds a lot more weight to it than, say, a taekwondo or a karate or kickboxing or anything like that. And if any of you guys are watching this, if you guys are taekwondo or karate or kickboxing practitioners, I am in no way trying to disrespect those arts. And in many ways, I am being very stereotypical of the skill set that they teach. I'm sure there are karate students, karate masters out there who do teach survival skills. So by no means am I trying to disrespect the arts. But generally speaking, when people study taekwondo, karate, kickboxing, survival skills, and being able to live off the land, and hunting and tracking, and espionage, and gathering information, and counterintelligence is not one of the things that are highly talked about in that particular world. Okay, so yes, without doubt, I definitely think that ninjutsu is, it's not just applicable in the modern day. In my opinion, it's needed. And unfortunately, we live in a world where people want to do things because it looks good, and most people don't even know how to gather information themselves. The majority of people who you guys are watching this video, the majority of you guys probably know more about what other people say about me than what I've actually done. Most of you guys probably don't go to my website at all, even though I say, hey, go to www.budodninjutsu.com, check out everything that I've done. My bio's there, my teachers are there. You know, I say that, go to the website. You guys can join the Budo online ninjutsu dojo. No one goes there. Most of you guys probably know more about what my critics and opposition have said about me than what's actually true. You know, just to be honest, and the majority, and I would say 99% of the people who are talking about me have never met me, they've never trained with me, and they've never been here. They're just, it's a bunch of, you know, he said, she said, and then as it goes and goes, it goes the next person, the story just gets perpetuated, and it's just this big ass bullshit that absolutely has no, even an angle of being truth. But most people are too lazy to learn how to gather information. Most people are too lazy, and they don't understand how to go to the source to gather information, to gather true information, and to be able to utilize that properly, which is a skill in ninjutsu. Most people like to throw a bunch of kyojutsu at your ass and make you and say it in a way that makes you believe it, and then they perpetuate a lie through false accounts and so on and so forth. Which, that is why I'm talking about this. When you're studying ninjutsu, you understand how that works. You understand why people do what they do, and then you understand what you can do to defend yourself against those things. Which is why I've been around for so long and why my business is still thriving today. So, simply put, is ninjutsu training practical in the modern day? Absolutely, yes it is. Is it applicable in the modern day? Absolutely, without doubt. I think everyone should be training ninjutsu, and to me, it's very special and near and dear to me, and it is what I've dedicated my life to. So if this is one of the first videos that you guys have seen from me, again, my name is Christa Jacobson. I'm the headmistress of the Budo. If you guys are interested in studying authentic ninjutsu, classical samurai bujutsu, you should check out our website at www.budoninjutsu.com. There you can see the 5 areas of training, the different subsections of those particular areas. You guys can see our philosophies of training. We have a list of schools, Budo schools. You can enroll in one of our schools and start training. If you don't live next to one of our schools, you guys are more than happy, or you guys are more than welcome, excuse me, I would be happy. It's more than welcome for you guys to join the online ninjutsu dojo. That way you guys can still train with us and train in true ninjutsu, true samurai bujutsu, without all the bullshit politics of these larger ninpo organizations that just want to feed you a bunch of shit. So if you guys would like to train in authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu, please check out our website at www.budoninjutsu.com. Thank you guys very much for all of your love and support. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey of Budo. Blessed be.